How do you become a great leader? That's a great question. How do you delegate the task accordingly and divide the work amongst your team members? Today, I'm going to give you a 7-step process that is going to allow you to understand step by step, how do I make sure that my team gets the job done using a variety of conversational tactics that are so simple that you will be able to use them with any team in any given situation. If you're a leader or a team player or just a manager looking to make sure that your team gets the job done, how do you actually do it? Using the 7-step process that I'm going to share with you today, this will become more easy because you will learn how to communicate to your team in a very simple and straightforward process. Realize that any team member is looking to do a few things with being a part of the team, and that includes feeling like they are a part of something that is bigger than themselves. They want to achieve, they want to have status, they want to be recognized for their work. So if you want to actually make sure that they are effective contributors of the team, make sure that you make them feel like a part of the group. Having said that, use this 7-step process to actually make sure that the task gets completed, and at the same time you are taking into consideration each and every one of your team members. Remember, every team is as important as each one of its members. So counting one person out and making the leader more important, none of that stuff really works. Each person has something to contribute, and if they are on your team, they are there for a reason. So how do you actually delegate the tasks? How do you actually divide the work to make sure that not only does it become easier, but people actually feel like they are contributing and achieving something? Follow the 7-step process and it becomes really straightforward. Now, the first thing that you need to do is plan. Plan exactly what it is. Now, let's say you have a project coming in from somewhere. How exactly are you going to go about doing this? Now, as the leader or the team manager, it's important for you to consider what the task actually is. Your job is to plan, as to develop a map, something of a concept like, this is all of the stuff that needs to be completed. Now, once you have planned it out, laid it out as to what needs to be achieved, then you relay it to them. Go down to your team and talk to them that, hey, now we have received a project. This is how we can actually go about doing it. This is what I feel. This is what I think needs to be done. Now, that's your perspective. While it's important to deliver your perspective, it's important to get your team's perspective on how they are going to go about doing the job. Now, you know what needs to be done, but it's important for them to deliver it for you. And that's the most important thing, dividing the work amongst your team and not just dumping it on them. Remember, if you can focus on actually being a part of this entire process, especially if it's a hard project, as a leader, if you can take the majority of the brunt of it, then you'll be doing your role quite effectively, and at the same time dividing the work. Ask them for their opinion. This is what needs to be done. How do you think we can go about doing this? Now, often they will have multiple perspectives and they generally will not be the best at planning, and that is your role. So if you want to actually see them execute the job well, you need to make sure that you have planned it and you can make it very clear to them exactly what the needs are. And once you do that, you have them relay the same information back to you. What did they understand from what you said? Do they actually understand the task that needs to be completed? What didn't they understand? Convey that same thing back to you. And what do? You clarify the same information back to them. Clarify exactly what needs to be done. What were the gaps in the things that they just mentioned? Now, the project that they need to actually complete is within a certain time frame. They may say that, I don't know if I can actually do it within that time frame. Is there any possibility we can get an extension? Now, you can clarify by saying that, no, we have a deadline to meet and this is the amount of time that we have to work with. Now, it's up to you to actually manage the task within this given time frame and actually get the job done. The thing is, often there will be too many voices within a team, especially if you are in a larger team, a company of some sort. Consider that you aren't going to be able to talk to each and every person. But how do you make them feel like they're still contributing to the project? Well, it's easy. Have representatives from each group. Make them form small groups and let one representative report directly to you or to another manager. Remember, one of the most important parts about delegating a task is about having captains, other generals, and other people who have their immediate roles taken care of. Remember that you need to be flexible, as do your different delegatees. If the job needs to be done effectively, delegatees need to adopt different roles just like you. There is no one constant role. However, a delegatee will probably not be as motivated as you because you are the leader. You want to lead from the front. So their motivation is usually a reflection of how motivated you feel and how can you make them feel as motivated as you. This is a skill, this is a certain talent that is developed over a period of time, and if they actually feel that from you, the likelihood that they will complete the task becomes so much greater. Once you've done that, you need to clarify and gain more knowledge from them. How do we actually go about doing this? What do you think? What do you understand? What needs to be done next in order to accomplish this within the given time frame? Now the focus is more on the how. How do we do it? Because once the how is covered, then the job is pretty much done. And that allows you to do the final negotiations, which is the next step. If you can have the final negotiation set up, like, okay, now that we have explained everything, all of the people have got the picture that they needed to gain, now let's start doing the final negotiations. And once the negotiations are done and they have agreed to the time frame that you have set, or the customer or the project that has been given to someone else, or there's a training schedule that the entire team has to adhere to, then you can move into the final thing, which is feedback, feed forward, and actually understand if there is anything else that they are concerned about. What are the final points that need to be covered so that the job can get started and get done within the assigned time frame. So all of this is very important to consider. So keep a plan in mind. How are things going to be executed? Always gain a back and forth kind of relationship in your team, because the more you convey information and the more you gain it back from them, the more easy it is for you to go about a different project. And that communication pattern, the relationship, improves over a period of time, provided you follow this simple 7-step process. Just go about doing it in this manner. Once you've done that, you have clarified everything, negotiated, and reached a conclusion that, okay, now that we are ready, now we have everything in place, let's get started and get what needs to be done. Once you do all of this, then you are in a more effective position to reaffirm your place as a leader and actually cement your place in the eyes of your team. This is what a great leader does. They pick up off the slack of other people, they lead from the front, and whenever the team members need some kind of help, they are there to give them some kind of assistance. So if you can manage to do all of this, there should be no problem. And again, if you go in the 7-step pattern of planning and getting to the actual beginning of the job and until it gets done, then there should be no issue at all. Having said that, if you have any further questions on this, how do you actually delegate? How do you lead a team from the front? How do you actually get the results that are desired? How do you do it consistently? If you have any of these questions, comment down below and let me know, and I will make a video about it in future. If you want to understand these concepts of leadership, delegation, and all of that stuff, it's something that I'm looking forward to in terms of covering it in a future video. Having said that, hit the like button if you found this video useful. Which one of these other tips that I have just mentioned in the 7-step process are you going to use first? Comment down below and tell me. You want to learn how to become a master communicator? Hit the I button and watch this entire playlist that I've made for you on how to communicate more effectively with the wide variety of people that we interact with on a daily basis. And I promise you that will make you a master communicator. Having said that, subscribe right now if this is your first time here. Turn on those bell notifications and watch all of the videos that I am putting out for you, because I am dedicated to making you the best version of yourself and having you perform like a champion in every single area of your life. That's my goal for you. This is Vikram signing off, asking you to follow me on all the social media platforms, including Instagram and Facebook. I will see you in the next session.